Before we get started, I just want to let everybody know I'm doing a free loop kit giveaway for new subscribers. So if you're new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button and leave a comment down below. Or feel free to hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, and I will slide you a link to those as quickly as I can. What's going on, YouTube? Taylor Prentice, TP Money, whatever you want to call me. And today I'm here with another video, and this video is going to be on the Drum Machine Designer in Logic Pro 10.5. So in the past, I've always used a cracked version of Logic. Finally gave in and bought the real version so I can get new updates. And I gotta say, it was completely worth it. I was really hesitant because I didn't know if I wanted to spend $200 on essentially getting the same thing. But the Drum Machine Designer in 10.5 is a huge upgrade from anything in 10.4 in my opinion. If you're on the fence about buying it, I would definitely recommend it because this has improved my workflow a million times. And yeah, pretty much like has made me fall back in love with making beats. I was kind of going through some beat block and stuff, and then I went ahead and bought it, and I've been cranking out some really good beats in my opinion ever since I got it. So in my opinion, it's definitely worth the purchase of $200 just strictly even for the Drum Machine Designer. So I'm going to go ahead and get on into that and show you guys. So the Drum Machine Designer is kind of replacing the EXS24 sampler. There's actually a new sampler. It's called the Q sampler or Quick sampler, which is a million times better also, I think. If you still are using a cracked version and want to check out how to make like basic beats or how I did all my drums in the older versions of Logic, I will leave a link to that. It should pop up like almost right where I'm at in the camera. But yeah, the Drum Machine Designer has made it a million times easier. You don't have to sample sounds one at a time, and you don't have to go through and change the settings or like edit the sound so you can pitch them up and pitch them down. It kind of just does all that stuff for you, which is super handy, and it kind of increases your creative workflow because you don't want to spend a bunch of time dragging sounds in and right clicking and convert to sampler because you kind of lose the vibe of like what you're going for. Like when you sit down and you're really excited to make a beat, all that would kind of just disappear when I would be loading sounds in for like 5-10 minutes, just wasting a bunch of my time. So I'm a big fan of this, and I'm just going to show you what happens when you open up an empty one, and then I'll go in depth to the one that I use for this full beat. So you go down, you want to have this little I tab open so you can click your instrument here, and then Drum Machine Designer. It's not going to be grouped with the rest of your instruments. It's going to be after the utility tab, so that's a little bit different, but pretty easy to get used to. And then as you can see, it just literally comes up with an empty kit, so you can drag all your drum sounds into here, and it's going to create new tracks for them. So as you can see, I've got this instrument 1 here, but that's just because there's no other placeholder or because I have no other sounds in there. Once I start loading sounds in, that instrument 1 will either become another sound or just disappear completely. And it will only add new tracks if you add a new sound. So if you like pull up a kit, so I'm going to pull up this Atlanta preset Drum Machine Designer kit, and as you can see, it's going to give you all these tracks. So that's why I really prefer opening up with the empty kit, because then I can just drag all my own sounds in, and it's going to give me a finite list of what drums I have rather than having all these empty places. Like I don't really ever use 2 kicks. I wouldn't really use like 3 snares, 2 claps, like all that. So it's a lot of excess stuff that I feel like if you use an empty kit, it's a little easier to just control things and have everything be manageable. But I'm going to go ahead and delete that, and I'm going to go more in depth into this one that I had already built for this beat. So as you can see here, I've got my different kinds of drums, and what you might notice is I have so this is my 808. I know I just deleted a track called 808, but that wasn't supposed to be there. So this is actually my 808, and this is my kick. And as you can see, my 808 and my kick are not grouped in with the rest of my drums, and that is on purpose. But if you wanted to, it is really easy to just drag in either an 808 or a kick. So I'll show you guys how to do that. Literally, you just drag it in, and then it pops it up, and you've got a new track for it. And then in the Q sampler, it's going to give you some different options. So you have like the one shot, and then all these different effects and little different types of things that you can do to affect your sound and get the ideal sound that you're really going for. Uh, Typically, I honestly don't really mess with these unless it's like the hi-hats I kind of mess with. But for most sounds, if you're working with high quality kits, just load the sounds in and work with them. Throw an EQ on there maybe. But the big reason why I don't group my kicks and my 808s in with the rest of this drum machine designer is because I put a Abbey Roads like drum bus on the entire kit. So all these drums in this empty kit, as you can see, they're all highlighted here, are being routed through the Abbey Roads drum saturator, or Abbey Road saturator. But I use it a lot for my drums, but it doesn't sound very well with kicks and 808s, so I tend to keep those out of the loop, or out of the kit, I should say. And as you can see here, if you have a plugin on your drum machine designer, it's going to give you the options to mess around with it down here. So that's another cool option to where you can go ahead and mess with things. I typically don't mess with things within the drum machine designer, but the option's there if you would like it. I prefer to make my changes in Abbey Roads rather than in the drum machine designer to Abbey Roads, if that makes sense. But I'm going to go ahead and play this for you guys. And then if you hit mute on the kit, it obviously mutes the whole kit. And then you can go through and individually mute sounds or solo out sounds, and then you can go through and also individually add plugins to individual drum tracks, which is really cool too. It's not like you just have to throw a plugin on the whole drum kit. So if you guys are still using the EXS24 sampler on the old version of Logic and you're kind of on the fence, I would definitely just say go ahead and buy it if you have the money, because the way it improves your workflow is just undescribable. And it really just puts the old Logic to shame. Like, I didn't really think I would say that, but it really does. And I'm a huge believer in this drum machine designer and the Q sampler, because the Q sampler just seems to be a million times better than the EXS24 sampler. Not only does it look a lot cleaner, it just seems like it's a lot easier to use. And it seemed like there would be a lot of problems with the EXS24 sampler, and it just took so long. So really it was just more of a time issue. And obviously time is money when it comes to making beats. Like, you don't want to be sitting in a session with a guy and he's just waiting on you to take forever to load in these sounds, and then by the time you've kind of made the beat, he's kind of already like lost the vibe of the song. So he's ready to go, you got no song, and you have a beat that's like 3/4 of the way finished. Whereas this, you can sit down, load all your sounds in real quick, and then just draw out your patterns and you are set to go. This has probably reduced my beat making time by like half. So I thought I'd recommend it to you guys if you guys are on the fence, because I for a long time was the same way. I didn't know if I wanted to go ahead and buy it, but definitely worth it. I keep rambling, I'm sorry. But if you guys have watched this video this long, I appreciate you guys watching. And if you guys like the drum machine designer, leave a comment down below. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I will catch you guys later. Deuces.